I'm here today with a review for you, which is the 1000 helmet. I was sent this by the 1000 company to give it a whirl. I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like in the box. So this is how it came to me. When open it, you'll get a helmet in a lovely bag. A lot of companies send their helmets in bags, which usually end up being camping or for their bike gear bags to me. It's always nice to get a new fancy bag to use. So this is the helmet itself. So they just started a new earth tone scheme, color scheme. This is like the, I think, terracotta. They have a teal. I think it's a gray one as well. I really like that color scheme. Those are I gravitate towards earthy type of tones. So I really liked this color and said, that's the color I want. Also in the box here, we have owner's manual. I don't know if anyone ever reads these for helmets. I know I never do. I just kind of figure it out. But if you want to read it. And then they also have this tag it came with. There's an anti-theft guarantee, which I'll talk about that in a second. They give 1% of your purchase to environmental restoration. And there's some other feature stuff in here I'll talk about on this little tag they sent. For today's review, I'm also going to compare the helmet to this Bern Berkeley style helmet. They're very similar styles of helmets, and another helmet that would be similar to this would be the Nutcase brand. So I'll give you a little bit of a comparison if you're considering buying a helmet and which one to buy. I can kind of do a side-by-side comparison for you about what I think about them. The first thing I noticed when I pulled this helmet out of the box was my intuition was this feels kind of heavy, and I didn't just want to go by feeling, so I put it on my food scale and I found that I was correct. This 1000 helmet weighs 426 grams, whereas the Bern helmet weighs 369 grams. Now that may or may not deter you depending on what type of riding you're doing. This type of helmet and what style of handlebar you have, this type of helmet is one for me that I ride around the city to commute, my everyday riding on which I ride an upright style bike. So I'm not bent over. When I do endurance riding or long distances, on my drop bar bike, I usually use a more aerodynamic Smith helmet that's much lighter, just because being on a drop bar and holding my head up something heavier will hurt my neck. So depending on your neck and whether or not you have problems with that personally, this might not be the helmet for you. And this one might not even be the helmet for you. That still might be too heavy compared to the other style. For me, riding an upright style bike, that doesn't really matter to me in terms of weight. It's not a big deal because I'm upright anyways. But something to consider if you're debating back and forth between these different helmets. The other thing I was nervous about was that I have a very small head. I know it doesn't appear so. It's like a cat. There's a lot of fluff, but a very small head. So when I was talking to the folks with 1000, they said that the smallest they had was a 54. So it's a 54 to 57 centimeter helmet. My current helmet by Bern is a 52 by 55.5 centimeter, and this one is even too big for me. So I was really nervous about this fact, but I said, well, they told me it dials down. I said, okay, we'll give it a whirl. This one dials down as well, but fully dialed down, it's still too big for my head. So you can see why I would be hesitant about something that says it's a bigger size. However, I was pleasantly surprised this helmet dialed down further than the Bern helmet. So if you're like me, you have a small head and that's a problem, know that the Bern helmet's small dials down quite further than the 1000 helmet dials down quite further than the Bern helmet. This one is still too big for me. I tend to wear it only in the winter when I have a winter cap on, and then it fills up some of that space. But this, all the way dialed down, really tight to my head. I couldn't have been more pleasantly surprised about the sizing of this helmet. So again, you got a small head, the 1000 could be the better option for you. So another feature you'll see on both of these is the fact that both of these helmets have a visor. You can kind of see to the side. Obviously, Bern's visor is a little bit longer of a brim, whereas this one's a little bit shorter. The Bern visor can actually be removed. This is just a kit. You could buy another kit for it. For my taste, personally, this visor is a little too long. I was finding that it would often block my field of vision, and I don't really like that when I'm biking. With this one being shorter, it doesn't block my field of vision at all, and when the sun's overhead, it still did a fantastic job of blocking out the light. And when the sun's at horizon, of course, no helmet's really gonna do, visor's gonna do anything for that anyways, but I really did like their visor, and I liked the fact that it was a little bit shorter. Again, you could get a different kit for this if you want to, the Bern one, but for me, I actually preferred this visor on the 1000 helmet. Also, immediately, something you notice about this helmet is that there's not as much ventilation holes as the Bern helmet. I was nervous about that because I thought maybe this helmet would be a lot hotter then, but I didn't notice any significant difference in ventilation between the two. So for me, there wasn't a significant noticeable difference. I would say ventilation is comparable in both of these helmets. Style-wise, with the Bern helmets, you can tell that this is a regular kind of sporty helmet straps, whereas the 1000 helmet it's a faux leather strap. And if you're a commuter cyclist, or you're using this for commuter cycling and you're going for style, I know I ride my helmet to meet friends for dinner or go to social outings. It's kind of nice to have something that's a little bit fancier than the regular sport material. The other downside about these, on all of my helmets, no matter what brand, they get dirty. You can see, when you're biking, you get grease on your hands, you're gonna touch your helmet straps. And I'll be interested to see, I don't feel like these are gonna get dirty. They're faux leather. I don't know how that could happen. It'll be interesting to find out if that does, but I do like that about it, because these ones always end up getting pretty yucky looking. And another cool feature that 1000 has come up with is this push-out button to link your U-lock through your helmet if you leave your helmet outside with your bike. Personally, I never do that because I worry about rain and stuff, getting my helmet all wet. So I know a lot of people who do lock their helmet out with their bike, and that's why they have that anti-theft guarantee, because they have this little hole. You can loop your U-lock through here, lock it with your bike, and this is magnetic. I think that's a really cool feature that they thought of, that I don't think I've seen any other helmet have. So something else to consider depending on how you utilize your bike or your helmet. And you probably just heard that. The one other unique thing about the 1000 helmet versus a regular helmet. So most helmets have this kind of clip feature. You squeeze this to get it out. Maybe if you have arthritis or something like that, sometimes people don't have that. You've had an injury. Sometimes people don't have that pinching hand dexterity. So kind of the cool thing about the 1000 helmets is that it's a magnetic link, and I've never seen anything. It took a second to figure it out because I hadn't dealt with it before. But you can see there's these two sides, and then it just slides right and kind of does it on its own because it's magnetic, and then all you do is push it forward. So, and it is, I feel like I'm still kind of slow at it because I'm not used to a helmet. So it kind of does it on its own, and then you push forward on it to get it off, but you don't really have to push hard. It just comes right off. So something else to consider if you might have arthritis or other things. This is a unique buckle style that I've never seen before, and I really like this feature about 1000. So right now, because this helmet is such a better fit, and I really do like the style of it, I'm probably going to stick to wearing my 1000 helmet for quite some time. And I would love to give it a whirl in the winter as well. I don't foresee it being too different from this. And again, I do like that it doesn't block my field of vision a lot more. So between these two, for me, this is a much better fit, fit-wise, and just some of the other style-wise, how it doesn't block my view. So I'm really glad I got to try the 1000 helmet. I think if you live in Minneapolis, you'll probably see me cruising around with my new fancy 1000 helmet throughout town. And if you're looking for new helmets, hopefully this was a good comparison and you can kind of decide what will work best for you. Thanks again, 1000. I really like the helmet.